Hi guys, so we're gonna go over weeks 1 through 4 of my hysterectomy. I had a total hysterectomy. So I'm scheduled for a laparoscopic hysterectomy. That is where the doctor comes in with the robot, which is this like big white machine that they use to do surgery. They use the robot nowadays versus the doctor doing it when they're doing it laparoscopic because the robot's hands are smaller and the incisions aren't going to be so big. So with my surgery, I got into the ER about 5 o'clock that morning. I had to report surgery was to start at 7:30. And the doctor came in, we went over everything. My surgery was supposed to be about an hour and a half long, in and out. And then I was going to be in the hospital about 1 to 2 days afterwards so they can see how I was recovering. Boy, did that story change. So I go in, everything's going well. We start surgery. The doctor lets me know that about 3 hours in, they end up having to abandon the robot completely. The doctor had to come out from behind the machine and step in and finish my surgery out. So they started off laparoscopically. I had 4 incisions in my belly. 3 going around the belly and then 1 in the actual belly button. That's where they blow your stomach up with the gas and they just go in and get the uterus and cervix and all that stuff out. Quick, easy, the new method, your recovery time is like a week to 4 weeks max. No, that is not what happened with me. So with my hysterectomy, as I was saying, the doctor was in there. So 3 hours had went by and they were having trouble getting the uterus out and getting it fully like detached. I had lost a lot of blood. They ended up having to do a blood transfusion, and then my heart rate and pressure had dropped all the way down, so where he had to just stop, and they kind of had to just bring me back, and the doctor had to take over. So with my surgery, I ended up getting a 2-in-1. I got it laparoscopically, so first 3 hours of my surgery, and then the rest, they did a transverse cut, which was they reopened my C-section incision and had to finish the surgery that way and get everything removed out. My surgery ended up being 7 hours and 29 minutes long. It was all day long. So much went on in that operating room. So the doctor explained that as they were doing the surgery, I had so much scar tissue built up from my prior surgeries. I have had 3 previous C-sections, 8 surgeries total with some other operations. So I had so much scar tissue built up in that area, in the incision area, as well as around my uterus. My uterus and my bladder had seared together, and they were both seared to the front of my stomach wall. So with that time, it took him a little over 5 hours to get that detached and get me all sewn back up, get the uterus removed and get me all sewn back up. So it was a little scary for me. I will say, for those of you who have had reoccurrent C-sections, just talk with your doctor regarding the laparoscopic, because they may want to go ahead and just cut you transverse and get it done that way so that it's not as complicated and painful for you. So with my surgery, technically I had it laparoscopically because they were in there. They had those incisions open in my belly and they were in there for over 3 hours. And then they had to pause that and transition over to a transverse surgery, which is basically like a C-section, and go in that way to get all of that scar tissue out and pull the uterus and cervix out that way. I had to recover from 2 surgeries at one time. So for those of you who are plus size going to get a total hysterectomy done, just talk with your doctor, or just be cautious that as you go in for the laparoscopic, they might have to stop and abandon and transition you over to that other way. And I tell you, the pain was excruciating. I woke up, I don't know what it felt like. Like, it just felt like somebody had just ripped me open and ripped something out of me. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Because I've never been shot, so I don't want to say it feels like I got shot. Maybe like if you got stabbed or something, I don't know. It just was excruciating. I was in so much pain. And then they had to give me pain medication for both operations. So I had to get pain medication for the belly portion, where they had blew me up with the gas and all that pain there. And then I had to get the pain medication for that incision. Because it's kind of like you're recovering from a C-section. That's the simplest way for me to explain it to you guys. Women, that's the simplest way. Just like kind of like you're recovering from a C-section. The cut was just a tad bit wider. It was just a little longer, maybe like a quarter inch longer on each side. But I was just in so much pain when I woke up. Then, luckily for me, I was supposed to recover because you're supposed to go into the hospital and stay 1 to 2 days after your hysterectomy surgery. That's just standard procedure, just to make sure you're recovering, valves, everything's working together. They typically have you in labor and delivery. My surgery went on so long, other people went into labor, so the room they had for me got taken. I ended up having to go to the regular surgical unit and recover. And so I had a whole different team of staff, and it was just completely different. It was way different being over on that side versus recovering in the labor and delivery, where they kind of know what's going on with you, what you had. With the change in shifts in the nurses, it was just so complicated, just re-explaining everything like every other day. So my 1 to 2 day stay in the hospital ended up being 5 whole days. I didn't get out the hospital to that 5th day, and it was like 9:30 at night. I was getting discharged. It was so chaotic for me. The pain was just outrageous. They were just coming in, checking my belly. So of course, with me being in pain in the abdomen area from them doing the laparoscopic incision, they were shifting my belly up, which was causing pain there, to look at the transverse incision. So it was just, it was so hectic. They had me on 2 different pain medications. They eventually ended up putting me on like a morphine drip, which they only had me on for about 2 days, going into the 3rd day, because that can kind of become addictive if you're on it for so long. So they end up just transitioning me back to 2 pain medications. They also had to do stool softeners for me, and then I had like some gas relief medications, that I had brought in just to help, because I was bedbound. So when I woke up from surgery, let's just back it up a little bit. When I woke up from surgery, I had a Foley catheter. For those of you who don't know what that is that Foley is that balloon thing that they kind of insert into you in the catheter that they put on, so that you're kind of in the bed when you're like laboring. It kind of helps your uterus and all of that expand as you're laboring. So I woke up with one of those in. Now, they end up having to put that in because I was having my surgery laparoscopically. So I did not get an epidural going into the surgery because they weren't doing anything supposedly down in the pelvic vaginal area. Now, when I've had my C-sections, of course, I had to get an epidural, in the operating room before they started. When I had my DNCs and my DNEs, they, of course, had to do an epidural in the operating room right before, because they're operating down there. So with me, I didn't have an epidural because they weren't expecting to do that. So when they had to stop and transition into that mode, they did numb me down there, but I didn't have an epidural. And that was another reason why my doctor was saying I was in so much pain, because I wasn't numb prior to. So with that, they had to put the Foley catheter in, and I had to wear that for 2 days. I was bedbound for the first 2 days. I could not get out of the bed. The only thing about that was, for some reason, I could still feel the pressure of having to use the bathroom. Generally, with my C-section, I woke up with a catheter in. When I come out of the C-section with a catheter in, I didn't have that type of pressure, but I guess because I hadn't had that epidural prior, I had so much pressure, like I knew every time I had to pee. It's just I couldn't get up to pee. So I'm like calling the nurses, calling my husband. I'm like, check the bag. Is it pee going in there? Is pee coming down the little pipe? Because I was in so much pain, I couldn't really lean up and look. You know, with a C-section start, you can't really just hop on up with a C-section start, a transverse incision. So that was like, that was so much for me those first 2 days. Having to deal with that, and then being on the pain medication and being stuck in the bed on a clear liquid diet. So typically you're only in there 1 to 2 days, and you only have to deal with that diet for like 1 to 2 days. For me, it was 5 days that I was on a clear liquid diet. That last day is when they fully gave me like breakfast, lunch, and dinner that was not broth, applesauce, and juice. He wanted me to eat, and they needed me to pass bowel. So they did upgrade me to a soft diet. And when I got discharged from the hospital on that 5th day, I was also discharged on a soft diet, and I was on that for 2 weeks until I had my follow-up with my doctor, which was good because it helped keep my stomach down, and it helped to start getting weight and fluids off of me after the surgery. But I was discharged on bed rest, so definitely get you some buddies, friends, and family to help you, because if you are going to be discharged on bed rest just regardless. But with my surgeries being basically 2 surgeries in one, getting discharged on bed rest, I really couldn't move. I really couldn't do much for myself. I was like walking hunched over. I would say to get you like a waist trainer, because they did give me an abdominal binder. But for me, it just wasn't enough. It just, to me, my stomach was just too big, too heavy. So it wasn't holding me enough. So I ended up I brought my faja and I brought my waist trainer to the hospital with me because I plan on wearing them home. But I ended up putting on the abdominal binder and my waist wrap. I had the long Fit and Fab waist wrap, and I wore that home, and it really helped hold my belly up to relieve that pressure off of the transverse incision, as well as push it in to help get that bloating down from the gas. Some of the supplements that I do recommend you taking definitely get you gas relief, and these are things that you can get from Walmart, you know, your local pharmacy, grocery store, Dollar General, Family Dollar. Definitely get you a gas relief and a stool softener. Although they didn't say to keep taking the stool softener once I left the hospital, it's just having to use the bathroom was a little hard because you don't want to put too much pressure, and you're just kind of like uptight trying to use the bathroom. So I would definitely get those. I also got some collagen. So collagen helps with like your skin elasticity and that youthfulness, and with your skin healing. So I started taking collagen. Now with collagen, you know, you hear about it, you think it's only like older ladies taking collagen. No, girl, get you some collagen. I'm still taking it. It just helps like with your mood, it helps with your energy, it helps with everything. And I got the Walmart brand. I say go 1,000 milligrams to get you the collagen, and get the one that has the hair, skin, and nails. If you're going to start off with like a multivitamin with collagen, get a hair, skin, and nails vitamin with collagen in it. You definitely want 1,000 milligrams and up per serving. Nothing less. I also got some maca root that also helps with your energy, your mood, and with the healing of your skin as well. I end up having to do a water pill because I was on bed rest for so long. So like I said, initially, for those who go in and have the surgery, everything's easy peasy, no complications. You're out like 1 to 4 weeks, you're down. My recovery was 6 to 8 weeks, and he extended it just a little longer. But my set period when I got discharged was 6 to 8 weeks. Don't expect to be doing anything for 6 to 8 weeks. And that's literally how it was. I did have to order one of those bed pillows from Walmart just to help prop me up in the bed, because again, I had that transverse cut. So now I'm recovering as if I kind of had a C-section plus the laparoscopic incision. So I was just uncomfortable all around. I also would say invest in you some compression socks. because with the surgery and the swelling that could occur, you definitely want to keep your legs compressed to get that fluid off of your feet and ankles so that they're not swelling. I was in compression socks as well throughout the time. But that was first for 1 to 2 weeks, guys. It is excruciating. Definitely get you some books on Audible or that you can listen to. Get you some relaxing music. Gather a playlist. Find you some affirmations to listen to, some to write down, and things that are going to keep you busy while you're in the bed, because you can really fall into like a depressed state. Going into the surgery, I knew, these are vital organs that you're born with, your uterus. That's, part of being a female. So I already had apprehension because, I'm losing kind of like a part of me. And I had got myself mentally prepared for it. But waking up, it was different knowing that it was gone. And then with your hospital staff, as they rotate shifts, everybody wants to run down what you're in there for. Get ready for that. Luckily with me, like after day 2, the staff kind of rotated the same in the unit that I was in. And they all kind of familiarized themselves with me, so they knew what was going on. It was in the beginning where they all kept coming in and they saw the laparoscopic cuts, which are cuts similar to having like a gastric bypass. So they thought initially that I was in there for like a gastric bypass or some type of weight loss surgery. And I'm like, no, what, are you not reading the chart? I literally had to yell that out to one of the nurses before everybody could get it. Like, okay, we know what you're in here for. Because they're like, oh, well, you just had a bypass, so you should be up and like do this and this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is one of the techs. The first night, the tech of the first night was doing that. And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, well, you shouldn't be in this much pain, Lady, did you read the chart? Could you go get the computer and the woman with it so guys can get together and get this straight? Because backtracking to my first night, I was in so much pain. I was screaming, I was crying. I just was not myself. And as I stated, I had 8 surgeries prior. I had 3 C-sections. I had several DNCs and DNEs from my miscarriages and stillbirths and my polyp removals, cyst removal, all of that. So once my husband was able to see like how much pain he was in, he was like, hey, you guys need to let's get this pain under control, because he knew I had prior surgeries, and I wasn't in as much pain as I was with this 2-in-1, the total hysterectomy, laparoscopic, and transverse. So I would just give those recommendations to those that are especially overweight or plus size as myself, to just be prepared, because our recovery is a little bit different. And those of you that have had multiple C-sections, there might be scar tissue built up there. And with my C-sections, as I stated, my uterus had seared to my bladder, and they both had seared to the front of my stomach wall. Which, as things move around, when you're having C-sections, delivering a baby, they move few things around. Sometimes everything doesn't shift all the way back. But that's just how it was for me, and I definitely wanted to share with you guys. So many people asked so many questions. So many who knew I had the surgery had sent their, get well wishes and everything, but I just wanted to put it out to you guys to let you know what to kind of be prepared for realistically, because 2022, 2023, that is the way that they're trying to do the surgery, because it's a much quicker and less invasive procedure. But just be cautious, those of us that are a little bit larger, that we might it might not be as quick of in a speedy recovery for you. We're still all going to have those same emotional feelings. I don't think that's going to differ no matter what type of surgery it is. It's just, you're still losing your uterus. It's our womb. For me, I have 4 children, so I'm okay. I don't need any more. But for those of us that are getting the surgery who don't have any at all, or you want it more, it's completely under, it's different. And mentally, take you a journal into the hospital with you. As I stated, get some books, download Audible, because you're not really going to be in the mood to hold anything, but you're going to be in your hospital room looking at those TV channels that they have, which is a bunch of stories in sports. But get you some Audible books to listen to, and even if you don't have Audible, they do a 30-day free trial, so 2 days before your surgery, do that and get some books ready that you can listen to. Get that playlist ready. You can definitely play music. Bring your little Alexa or your Google Home to plug up in your room, just to get ready and to kind of get your mood back in order. That's what I would say. Just get that mood back in order, because mentally you're gonna go through so many different emotions. It's kind of like being pregnant. You just up, down, up, down. Probiotics will be your friend, along with our good friend collagen. I had got probiotic pills right before surgery out of the store, but once I came home, I ordered from Amazon a probiotic by Oregon, and it is my friend. It does help, because you don't really know how much of our energy, mood, and everything is attached to the uterus, cervix, and our tubes. We got to replace that. That's why I said get on that collagen and stay on it. For me, I have one of my tubes. That was the only thing they left. I had a tubal litigation before, and they took, I'm sorry, I don't have my tube, I have an ovary. They took my left ovary with that because it was in golf ball size cyst. So my right ovary was in there when they did the whole hysterectomy, and he left it. He left that so that I would not go into premenopause. And so that is still intact. That's the only thing that's in there, but I still say take the supplements, because I still had my ups and downs. I don't have like hot flashes, but I do have my hot and cold nights or days. So that does kind of keep my hormones in balance. But for those of you that are getting everything out, you definitely are going to have to do some natural replacement, so that you don't have to go on medicated hormone replacements. But here's a quick video just to show you guys of some of the stuff that I went through during these first 4 weeks of my hysterectomy.
A lot of pain. It is day 2 post-op. I've been bedbound. Since today they're going to try to get the catheter out and get me up and walking around, and use the bathroom on my own. In a lot of pain. The laparoscopic incisions in my stomach, and then I have the transverse incision along the bikini line. So I got both. Today is, I guess, day 3. I'm still in the hospital. In a lot of pain. They had me going to the bathroom, and they brought me the bedside thing, because it's just difficult. I have a lot of gas. I haven't used the bathroom to do a number 2 yet. There's a lot of gas built up, so they're trying to get me to move around to get that out. But headache started last night. Just a lot of pain. They brought me some pudding. I did notice that I'm just feeling things now. Like guess, like, emotion. Like, I've cried like 4 times since coming out of surgery, which is way out of my norm if you know me. I just feel, I guess, these feelings now. A little out of my norm, but I guess I'll get used to it. I don't know. It is day 4. We are still in the hospital. I've been up walking twice so far. I had some eggs because they want me to eat. I'm trying to put on my lashes. The doctor told me I look like I was dying. I don't know if because I was in so much pain, but we're still here. Hopefully I go home today. That's their intent, to get me walking and bowel movements. I can go home. But I put some lashes on and some earrings, so I feel like partial. And some earrings, so I feel somewhat alive. These lashes aren't on how I would prefer them, but when you're in the bed, I didn't bring any edge control, so my pain has gone down some. And I think that was just the consistency of the medicine. I feel like my tongue is swollen. They're saying it's from the anesthesia, but I don't know. Oh goodness, good morning. The day before Thanksgiving. I have family coming to help cook. I'm just want to feel like I'm a part, so I'm tearing up the grit. Very tired. Since I'm up, I got a stool full to here, and I'm cutting green. Everybody will be here this evening so they can cook the dinner, but I'm gonna just do one little thing to feel like I contribute. It's Thanksgiving. I got my earrings and lashes on. Finally got dressed. Having Thanksgiving with the fam. So today I was in like a lot of pain, but I did walk around a lot this morning, but I'm sitting down. About to do my breathing treatment.